Chapter 1. The Discovery. In the year 2077, the world was a vastly different place than it had ever been before. Technology had advanced to levels that were once thought to be impossible, and society had changed in ways that no one could have predicted. But with these advancements came new dangers, and one of the most insidious threats to the world was the BBF, the Bureau of Biological Fixation. The BBF was a shadowy organization that operated in secret, using advanced technology to alter the genetic makeup of anthropomorphic animals, turning them back into regular animals. No one knew why they were doing this, or what their ultimate goal was, but the effects of their actions were clear to see. Families were torn apart, friendships destroyed, and countless lives were changed forever. I was one of the lucky ones. I had managed to evade the BBF's grasp, but my friends and family were not so fortunate. They had been taken, one by one, and transformed into mindless wolves. I was left alone, a lone wolf in a world that had turned against me. But I was not content to sit idly by and watch as the BBF destroyed everything I held dear. I knew that I had to do something, to fight back against the forces that sought to tear us apart. And so, armed with nothing but my determination and a gun that I had managed to acquire, I set out into the woods, determined to find a way to stop the BBF and save my friends and family. Chapter 2. The Hunt. As I made my way through the dense forest, the sounds of the wildlife around me seemed to fade into the background. My mind was focused solely on the task at hand, on finding the BBF and putting an end to their cruel experiments. I moved quickly and quietly, my senses on high alert for any sign of danger. I knew that the BBF would not take kindly to my interference, and that they would do everything in their power to stop me. But I was not afraid. I was fueled by a burning rage, a desire to see justice done and to save those who had been wronged. After what felt like hours of searching, I finally stumbled upon a clearing in the woods. In the center of the clearing stood a large, imposing building, surrounded by a high fence topped with razor wire. This was it, the BBF's headquarters. I took a deep breath, steeling myself for what was to come. With a determined look in my eyes, I raised my gun and prepared to storm the building, ready to face whatever dangers lay within. Chapter 3. The Confrontation. As I approached the building, I could hear the sounds of voices coming from inside. I knew that I had to be careful, that the BBF would have guards posted to protect their precious secrets. But I was not about to let a few guards stand in my way. I crept closer, staying low to the ground and using the cover of the trees to shield me from view. As I reached the fence, I could see the guards patrolling the perimeter, their weapons at the ready. But I was faster, and I was determined to succeed. With a sudden burst of speed, I leapt over the fence and landed on the other side, my gun at the ready. The guards turned towards me, their eyes widening in surprise. But before they could react, I opened fire, taking them down one by one. As I made my way towards the building, I could hear the sounds of commotion coming from inside. I knew that I was getting closer, that I was about to come face to face with the BBF and their twisted experiments. With a final burst of energy, I kicked open the door and stormed inside, my gun raised and ready to fire. And there, standing before me, was the leader of the BBF, a sinister smile on his face. Chapter 4. The Showdown. I stared at the leader of the BBF, my gun pointed directly at him. I could see the fear in his eyes, the realization that his reign of terror was about to come to an end. But I was not about to show him any mercy. You have no right to do what you've done, I growled, my voice filled with anger. You have destroyed lives, torn families apart, all in the name of some twisted experiment. Well, I'm here to put an end to it. The leader of the BBF laughed, a cold, heartless sound that sent shivers down my spine. You think you can stop us? He sneered. We have the power, the technology, to do whatever we want. You are nothing but a mere obstacle in our path. But I was not about to back down. With a steely resolve, I raised my gun and fired, the bullet striking the leader of the BBF square in the chest. He staggered back, a look of shock on his face, before collapsing to the ground, dead. As the other members of the BBF fled in terror, I made my way through the building, searching for my friends and family. And there, in a dark, dank room, I found them, my friends, my family, transformed back into their anthropomorphic forms. With tears in my eyes, I embraced them, relieved that they were safe once more. And as we made our way out of the building, I knew that we had won, that we had put an end to the BBF's reign of terror. And as we emerged from the woods, the sun shining down on us, I knew that we were free, that we could finally live our lives in peace. And as we walked away, Hand in hand, I knew that we would never forget the horrors that we had faced, but that we would always be grateful for the strength and courage that had seen us through.